Ever wondered why you've been going to the gym for years but still look pretty much the same, or sorry to say it, like you barely even lift? I've been there. I trained 6 days a week for this. So it's not a consistency issue. It's something easier. And once you fix it, everything changes. It worked for me and it's working for me clients too. So today I'm breaking down exactly what's been holding you back and how to finally build a body that turns heads and actually shows all that effort. And the first thing you need to do, which is what we did with Dan to get this result, is get an overview of your current training routine. Dan was already training 5 days a week here. This information is good because it tells me it isn't a getting to the gym issue, it's something else. He likes this amount of sessions because, yeah, we go to the gym to look good, but let's not forget how beneficial it is to just de-stress and forget about all the shit you've got going on for a bit. Recently, I've been lacking the discipline to get where I want to be. Happy to be pushed to the limit and put the work in. Now we're getting somewhere. Reading this as a coach, I'm like, yeah, this lad wants to have a go. And Dan might know exactly what's needed to get lean. In fact, he did, but he needs structure and someone in his corner along the way. So after he saw the training and nutrition plan I created for him, the discipline side of things was covered. Follow this structure, it will get you this result. If you don't follow this structure, I'll call you out on it and ask, what the fuck are you doing? That's accountability. And after years of training, this is what 12 weeks of focus on the right things for you looks like. So let's figure out what's holding you back. It comes down to 3 things: training, nutrition, and the goal. Let's start here. We can make the goal part really easy by looking at these results. If you want something similar to this, you want the abs out and you want to see definition, fat loss is the primary goal. Don't worry, you still get to do the muscle building work in this phase. A lot of guys think fat loss means getting skinny. It doesn't. But if you want to fill out your t-shirt and get big, a proper muscle building phase should be the focus. But there's a catch with this. Imagine you're growing a plant. You've got to put it in the ground, water it, and give it the right amount of light before you see anything. It takes ages. When you finally do see something, it's just this tiny little green thing coming out the dirt. And you're like, is that it? But eventually, after enough attention, it grows into something like this. That's what it's like when you're trying to build muscle. You need to give yourself 8 to 12 months or more, really, to grow into something worth appreciating. Whereas this takes 12 weeks because you're not growing a new plant from scratch, you're just trimming the leaves. So if you've been lifting weights for a year or more, you've probably grown something, right? Even if you can't see it because you're carrying a lot of body fat right now, there's going to be something there. And this brings us on to our second point of the triangle. Within training, you've got the split, which is the type of workouts and how often. You've got volume, which is the amount of exercises and sets across the week. And you've got intensity, which is how hard is it. Remember I showed you this picture when I was lifting 6 times a week? Well, this was from lifting 4. I used the other 2 days for conditioning instead. So it's still a lot of work, but we've shifted emphasis. When you want to literally transform your body into something better, you need energy to cover more important things, which is why dropping my number of sessions actually helped me get in the best shape of my life. With the volume, you basically need enough sets to stimulate growth, or at the very least, maintenance of that muscle, without doing too much to the point where you're overcooking it and you're exhausted and don't have the energy to do the other important things which help change your physique. A good coach will manage all this for you, but if you're doing it on your own, you can simplify it by just doing 2 to 4 sets on the exercises in your program. Do 2 if you're just getting started or you're feeling run down or you're limited for time. Do 3 if you're feeling good, and 4 if you're feeling on one and really want a lot of attention on that muscle group. Intensity can be broken into 2 sections: intensity of the overall workout and intensity of the individual exercise. The more you have of this, the more intense the entire thing becomes. I'd say 80 to 90% of guys who aren't seeing changes in their physique could do with lifting to failure and increasing the difficulty. More so for the muscle groups you want to see change the most. Those should have the most volume and the most intensity out of the entire plan. Once you've got the training plan covered, you need to hone in on nutrition because none of this works without it. I thought 6 days a week of grueling strength workouts would have me looking like Superman. More like Superman, for fuck's sake. So this was a wake-up call that training isn't enough and nutrition can either be the kryptonite that kills you or the sunlight that turns you into a fucking machine. Like the Superman references. And you can make a start by doing this. Just create a small item shopping list and split it into protein, carbs, fats, and veg. Some of these macros overlap, but this is a nice way to break things down, which for my scatty brain helps a lot. This list is going to be the base of everything you eat. It's just an example from my own nutrition plan. You don't have to follow this, but it works for me. And it's all made up of the least processed foods available. Now, I'm going to contradict myself and add a few sauces in there to make meals a bit more interesting, but I don't care. I ain't eating dry chicken and rice ever. And I'm all for a bit of balance and eating out or getting a takeaway. But if you want to upgrade your body in a few months, you might have heard of the phrase 80-20, where you eat well 80% of the time, do whatever you want for the remaining 20%. Well, this journey needs to be more like 95-5, and that might be too extreme for some people, in which case you need to detach yourself from having such a big goal in such a short time frame, because this is what it takes. But if you're like me, when you want something, you really want it, and you'll do everything it takes to get there, then you'll do this with a smile on your face. I don't live like this year round, by the way. I go through seasons of being bang on it and seasons where I'm just off and fucking go to Little Bakery every day. But I always feel better when I'm on it. When you're in this mode, you enjoy cooking good meals from scratch again, and don't see it as a chore. Your performance in training goes up because you're fueled with proper food, and it's the fastest way to see your body tighten up and mold into a better shape. When you've got all of these things going on, it'll snowball and you'll just be flying. The next principle with nutrition is knowing the right amount for you, depending on the goal. If you ever work with me, I do this for you. But if you're doing this on your own, there's a very precise way you can figure this out. But it takes 1 to 2 weeks. Weigh yourself first thing in the morning, then track everything you eat over the next 7 days, just as you usually would. Don't try and be fucking perfect. Just keep doing what you've been doing. If you haven't tracked before, then this is good practice anyway. Keep weighing yourself every morning after you've been to the toilet. And after 1 week, if you're shit at maths, put the numbers into ChatGPT and get it to work out your average body weight for the week. If you've stayed the same weight, you know that whatever you've been eating is enough to keep you at maintenance. If you've lost weight, you know that whatever you've been eating has put you in a deficit. And if you've gained, you know that whatever you've been eating has put you in a surplus. You'll have an even clearer picture of it after 2 weeks, and then you can assess whether you need more food or less, or whether you could do more output instead to offset things a little bit. So now you know exactly what it takes to go from average to jacked, using the triangle and finding your weak points. But here's the thing, you're leaving gains on the table if you don't know the best ways to lift for muscle growth. So watch this video next, where I'll show you how to build a frightening back